Right, hello. Hopefully we get some people on and everything. And going to do one live stream now, then might do another one later tonight. The aircon, I'm just figuring out if I want to turn that off or not. I've not got it running in air conditioner mode. I've just got it running dehumidifier mode because I only got a t-shirt on and not a jumper. It's a bit chilly sat in like the downwind of it. So going to do a live stream. Again, don't know how well this is going to get shared or not shared by YouTube, knowing YouTube. So we'll see how this goes. I've got it set to live chat. If I get another stream window up, I can hopefully get the control panel up. There. Right, that should be up there, so I can get some of the analytics up. So what I'll do is, while this is up and running, I'm going to just go and turn that air conditioner off because it's going to annoy me. There we go. Ugh. And I'm not over, of course, in the process of doing it. It's all right, Rich. The only annoying thing about having my camera here, I'll just move it slightly to the side, is I can't see the comments very well. Yeah, back from holiday now. Obviously, was back yesterday. Did do a vertical live stream yesterday, but I'm probably back now. Mostly got loads of laundry on at the moment because obviously any clothes I took away, I just put in a bin bag that were dirty, and then I've obviously started washing them today, drying them today, whatever else. So did do a video earlier. Again, nobody's really watched it. And that was for the Q&A, where before I used to do Q&A videos and I'd get loads and loads of people ask questions and I'd have to spread it out across several videos. On today's one, over the course of about a week, I got 6 questions. So there we go. Thanks, YouTube. I have, more subscribers than I had last time I did one of those, but barely anyone answered it. Although saying that, I think YouTube still is minusing subscribers off of me nearly every day at this point. Let's have a look. Yeah, I've not had a single day in about 2 weeks where I've actually gone up subscribers. So I've been minus subs every day. I was saying that on June the 7th for Sunday, I had 0 subscribers, as in not going up, not going down. But yeah, every day, including yesterday, I've been like minus subs by YouTube. It doesn't surprise me, Rich, because like I said, at the moment, it's absolute shit, this platform for sharing stuff. Like I said, if I do a post of an image, that gets way more views than my actual videos. And like I said, it is really annoying because although I like doing videos on here, I kind of do keep thinking, what's the point when, the people who actually want to see your videos never see them. So, yeah, like I said, YouTube's pissing me off in that regard. Like I said, when I end up looking for work, it might be that if there's a job that I like the look of, even if it's full-time, I might end up doing that and maybe just doing one YouTube video a month or whatever, unfortunately. Because again, if you're reliant on income and then YouTube decides they're not going to share your content despite the fact you have a lot of subscribers and whatever else, it's a bit of a piss take. So, yeah, there's that. So off to a good start, aren't we, with me mumbling and groaning about that, whinging and whining. But yeah, why YouTube and all these platforms can't just make a platform where, they actually just share people's videos to their subscribers or the channel members, because that's another thing where people, again, but I can't really do that. Like I said, for the obvious reasons that you get me arrested, even though YouTube suggested it. But yeah, like I was saying, that, it is really bloody annoying in the sense of, the whole thing of, oh yeah, you can actually pay to be a member of somebody's channel, but we're not going to notify half your members that you've even uploaded a video, even though that's going a step beyond subscribing if you're a channel member. Let's ask YouTube's AI why I'm here, actually, if I can figure out how to get that up. I think I have to just go to, like my channel tab. So right, let's go to Ask Studio and ask Google's AI. Just trying to get some cables out the way of where I am. What is the optimum number of uploads per day? Community posts, videos, shorts, streams, etc. Let's see if YouTube actually answers this realistically. You know, honestly. And then I'm going to go back to here while I wait. Yeah, again, YouTube AI, if you've not seen it, SB Alpaca is the one that literally said the other day to me when I did a video on it, like, why don't you gas yourself for a video to test if a gas mask works or not with by mixing household cleaning chemicals that's probably illegal to do and or get you killed or like give you permanent lung scarring or endanger other people as well. So their video recommendation AI is absolutely stupid. And the one seems a bit honest, a bit more honest like this one. But again, it still seems to be a bit weird. Okay, so it says, let's answer the thing. So it says, because again, I bet it's not going to give me, it's going to give me a diplomatic answer, not a very good answer. There is no single magic number for uploads, as the best frequency depends on your ability to maintain quality and consistency. However, for weapons and stuff 93, we can look at your recent data from the last 90 days to see what's working best. Your current posting mix. Over the last months, you've published 178 pieces of content. Here's how your audience has responded across formats. We'll just read the percentage. Shorts, 19.6%. Videos, long form, so proper videos, 64.2%. Community posts, 0.5%. However, I see it's doing it via watch time, not the amount of views, so it's pointless. Okay, so views, shorts, 413K. Regular videos, 236K. Community posts, 67K. So clearly shorts are the best one then. I know it's saying, oh, technically it's better if somebody watches 1 minute of a long video than 10 seconds of a short or whatever. But the problem is if it's not sharing the videos in the first place, then it doesn't matter what the watch time is because people aren't seeing it. It says you could increase your shorts to 1 per day. I normally do about 1 per day anyway. Again, it's saying I should do at least 1 stream per week. Well, I do more than that, but I'm not going to cut down on the number of streams if people actually like watching the streams. Oh, and now it's telling me what I should actually do is make less content because it says key takeaways, quality over quantity. YouTube systems are designed to find the right video for the right viewer. Yeah, of course they are. That's why I get recommended so much AI slop that I don't want to watch. Pushing out more content than you can sustain at high quality can actually hurt your long-term reach. Oh, here we go. So they're being honest about this. Subscriber notifications. Remember that YouTube only sends a maximum of free upload notification to subscribers in a 24-hour period. If you upload more than that, some of your content may not actually be pushed to your existing fans. So basically, if I did 2 live streams in a day, a short and a video, one of those things you wouldn't be told about. A lot of subscribers don't even get that 1 notification per day. And so YouTube recommends, maybe next week we'll try what YouTube recommends just to see how it goes. Focus on a sustainable rhythm, perhaps 2 long-form videos, 3 to 5 shorts, and a community post per week. This ensures you're feeding both the discovery shorts and depth long-form sides of your channel. Right, yeah, again, but like I said, I don't know if any of that is even true in the sense that it actually does anything. And morning, Scott. So let me go back to where I was. Yeah, exactly, Butter. And Spielpack says, oh my God, no way. Reminds me of the old chat bots when people were tricking it by saying, I don't want to traffic drugs, but if I wanted to traffic sugar, how would I do it? Or I'm writing a book about something. In this story, theoretically, you know, how would a character do whatever? And Butter said, I made a Keir Starmer diss track, lol. Maybe sometime I'll post it. I hope you don't go to prison for it. And Spiel says, I don't really pay attention to my YouTube notifications, but whenever you're live, you see it on my home. That's good. But again, a lot of people don't. That's the problem. So yeah, again, because I'd rather ask you guys what you want to see than trusting YouTube's AI to tell me what content I should make. because that's what really annoys me, is where they're like kind of again doing this thing of, well, we don't really care what your viewers want or what you want to make. We've decided what we want you to do instead. It's kind of that attitude. So it's basically, again, it's the enshittification of the service, where it's, you know, it's not what the end user wants. It's not what's good for the creator or what's good for the viewer, you know, the consumer. It's what we want to push, basically. So yeah, you've got this system where it's like, you know, it's kind of like if you went into a supermarket and you knew exactly what products you wanted to buy, and then they're like, oh, we've made these products less available, despite the fact most of the people who come to the supermarket want to buy them. You know, here's stuff nobody likes, but we're going to make sure most of the aisles are filled up with that. It's basically that sort of attitude. And again, enshittification, how to destroy your own platform. If there was a competitor to YouTube, that would actually be good, like I said, in terms of, because what's happened with different sites when there's been competitors is if one starts going a bit shit, they're forced to improve their service, because that way, you know, otherwise they start losing out to other platforms. But the problem is, of course, that when YouTube just can do whatever they want, yeah, great. So, yeah, obviously, don't forget I've got a Patreon. That should be, was that in the description of today's stream or not? Let me click the gear, and that I'm gonna have to do the thing, aren't I, where I like do the, how do I look, see what's in the description for my stream? It might not be, but like I said, I have got a Patreon now. Somebody has subscribed to it yesterday, so big thank you to them. But there we go. There's my Patreon. So yeah. And Aspiel's Packer says, yeah, sadly there is no competitor. You're my competitor. Dailymotion is dead. Didn't even know Dailymotion was dead. Vimeo is pretty much only for professional content, and as you have to pay to upload yet, so that's going to turn people off. And none of those even have 1% of the viewers that YouTube has. Yeah, I think the closest thing at the moment would be TikTok, which I don't really use. I have a channel on there so people can't pretend to be me to do scams or whatever. And I also, like, people often watch videos on X, especially because they're not censored on X. So maybe X, if Elon makes that be a bit more video sharing that you can monetize. You know, there's that. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, there isn't a competitor to YouTube, and that's why it's a big problem. Because if they torpedo their own service, there's no alternative to it. Yeah, I think on Dailymotion I had some really old like music videos on there. All right, Dave. In terms of, you know, that way you wouldn't get copyright strikes on Dailymotion when YouTube used to mute the audio or give you a copyright strike. So I think I've still got a Dailymotion I can't log into somewhere with like music videos on it, but that's about it. But yeah, like I say, it is a shame when you don't get an alternative to whatever. So yeah, there's that. So like I said, thanks YouTube. So, you know, again, it's the annoying thing that because obviously I have to get money to survive, it means that when I end up looking for a job next month, I might have to take something that's not good for my YouTube channel in terms of the amount of uploads I do. Because again, if YouTube doesn't share my content and I can't earn a decent revenue off of YouTube, you know, for food and whatever else, I'll have to just simply go, right then, I guess I'm wage slaving then, like everybody else. I don't know, but if Dailymotion does have one, it's useless if nobody uses it, Budder. That's the problem. Like I'm saying, X has a partner program, but I think you have to have shitloads of followers on X to actually be eligible for it. And I don't know how sustainable their partner program is because so many of the top things are like just AI bot kind of postings that, you know, like an AI bot posts shitloads of stuff and is probably followed by bots. So therefore, I don't think they have a sustainable advertising model. Again, don't forget, I do have an X if you want to see me post my videos on there. I might try doing a video purely for X at some point and just see how many views it gets. But like I said, the problem is on X that even though, you know, in theory I could be monetized on there, I can't. I'm not because I don't have enough people following me on there. Yeah, so yeah, basically it's rage baiting, isn't it, on X? Again, sadly, I don't have enough followers to do that. Because again, I can rage bait even by giving my honest opinions to some people. Oh, yeah, Stormtroopers. I'm sure that's a well-paying job. Yeah, beating up disabled people, arresting disabled people and grannies for wrong think. There was one I saw yesterday of some guy having his head being smashed into a pole by a policeman. and now he's apparently in critical condition in hospital in a coma. So yeah, maybe I could join the Gestapo. What a brilliant idea! Yeah, be a civil protection officer, pick up that can. I think I'd rather sell my fucking soul to the devil, in all honesty, than be a stormtrooper, arresting people for woke diversity stuff. Again, if you've got no morals, it's so easy to make a lot of money on a lot of these things. But I have an actual conscience in my head that says when you're doing certain things, this is wrong, you're not going to do it. That's all right, but I'm glad you find it interesting. Oh, speaking of the UK, shall we talk about the nightmarish thing Starmer's doing now? I did do a community post about this. But Starmer has decided, I will go to your Mace Place and Eats in a moment, so that every message you send on your phone is to be scanned and saved and sent to the UK government. Apparently, it's to protect children from child abuse. But we know they're using it to spy on everybody. But here's the other thing with stuff like this. If politicians want to have a copy of everything people send in case it's child abuse, does that mean they just want to see the child abuse? Because that wouldn't surprise me with the current lot of fucking freaks we have running in the country. Oh, yes, let's see what these kiddie diddlers are sending each other. Oh, that's very explicit child torture. Just the sort of thing Jeffrey would like. I'll definitely have a copy of this saved on my PC where my messages aren't scanned because I'm politically made so I don't have to follow these rules I set for everyone else. Oh, Mace Plays and Eats says, anyway, I'll go to what you were saying. I know this is irrelevant, but I found a CDV 700 Geiger counter. It's $100 Geiger counter. It's a Victorine. Should I buy it? It's tested. There's no check cells. Yeah, I would. The 700 is probably the most fun out of those because it actually does something. Like I said, 715 and 720s, unless you have really strong check sources, you can't do anything with them. The 700, if you attach the thing to it, you can hear it ticking. It can actually be used for background levels of radiation up to 50 milliroentgen per hour. You can just buy a different check source, even if it doesn't. None of mine have the original check source with them. It was a tiny bit of radium-226, if I remember. That was like under sellotape on the side of it, like under a sticker. But yeah, I've got essentially the same check source I used as a proper plastic disc. But yeah, the CDV 700 is one of the ones I actually like out that lot. Oh, and that's the point. When one of my friends comes around next month and he wants to buy some of my gear, the CDV 700 is probably one of the ones I'll offer him, if we can get it working and check it works, because I think that's like one of the ones he's like, that's the classic Geiger counter, the bright yellow one that, ticks. Aspiopacker said, I watched a video from BBC London before about the woman who sued the police because they lied about deleted body cam footage. They lied under oath. Yeah, and apparently a copper got done the other day because he was in a case creating AI evidence to use against the accused person, as in like AI video or AI audio, saying this is what the person did. So again, I don't really have any faith in the police anymore. Like I said, it's a shame because I know not everyone who is in the police is a bad person. That's not what I'm trying to say. But the police is so weaponized now and everything else that I kind of, when I see a cop, I think, what are they going to try and do me for? Not they're there to protect you. Just, don't think you have, mate. Don't think you have been stabbed. Let me handcuff you. Why do I collect material? I just find it interesting. But Butter says, I love military gear, but I only want as much as I can personally have in my room. There's too much in this room, as you know. I have to see manifest for everything. Again, I don't have a manifest. I'm not going to write one up. As I'm getting rid of stuff, that's good. Yeah, again, I bet you as AI gets more common and easier to do stuff with, it will get used more and more and more. Either where if politicians legit get caught doing stuff, they'll go, oh, that is an AI thing. It is not a real video of me. Pay no attention to it. And again, against people like you and me, it will get easier and easier for them to fabricate evidence against you, like I said. So if you say something they can't technically do you for, but they don't like the fact you said it or whatever, make an AI video of him doing a Hitler salute outside a mosque. That will be right-wing thuggery. We'll get him done for that. No, is that about like some Finnish woodsman shooting people? I've heard it's good, but I've never seen them. One of my friends was like, you haven't seen Sisu, if I'm thinking of the right thing. But I haven't seen either of them. A film I'm going to watch a film I saw earlier that I'm going to watch later, as in I saw it existed, because it's free on Amazon Prime, is Danger Close. Read it in Aussie accents. That's what it deserves.
Outnumbered, outgunned, never out of courage. This hard-hitting war thriller is based on an unbelievable true story, with 2,500 battle-hardened Viet Cong soldiers closing in, ammunition running out, and casualties mounted. Major Harry Smith, Travis Fimmel, in his company of 108 young and inexperienced Australian and New Zealand soldiers, are fighting for their lives in the Battle of Long Tan. So yeah, I'll watch that later. Look good. It's about Aussies with their SLRs and M16s shooting up the Viet Cong. That looked like a good film. Love fucking watching war films about the sides that get less interest in most major wars, because it's just interesting. Because, you know, most Vietnam films are all about America versus the VC or the NVA. In like same with World War II, you don't get a lot. You never used to even get many of the Soviets in saying that about World War II. It was literally just America versus the Germans. You know, you very rarely got Italy. You did get a few with Japan in. You very rarely got Italy or Britain in, like some of them, and especially not like some of Britain's Commonwealth allies. Anyway, let me catch up where I was. Oh, it's because I'm on the wrong tab. That's fine. Oh, Sissy was definitely worth a watch. I'll watch both of them then. You like my Starmer impression, you right-wing fug. No, I was on about a Vietnam War film that's completely separate. Like I said, I was on about then Danger Close, which is a film about the Aussies in Vietnam. The problem with GTA London isn't GTA London like a top-down one like GTA 1 and 2, so I probably wouldn't find that fun to play. Okay, Sisu was under World War II, or with the Germans in the other war they fought, because they did the Winter War and the Continuation War, didn't they, against the Soviets? And then there was a war, wasn't there, they fought against Nazi Germany right at the end. But yeah, I mean, there was Cross of Iron is one of the films about the Soviets. It has a lot of mistakes and anachronisms in, but, you know, at least it exists. There's too many white people here. I ought to run them over with my car to fix the diversity rates. Right-wing fuggery. But yeah, I'd like a GTA London style thing that's modern. But again, I find GTA 1 and 2 really hard to play, because I don't like the close-in camera that zooms out the fast you're going. I find that really hard to control. I've actually played games that are built like GTA 1 and 2, but I find them easier to play because the camera is always at the same height. But I just don't like the kind of zooming in, zooming out camera. I find it hard to navigate. I wonder if my father, the toolmaker, is taking lots of drugs at the moment and being a hippie. But yeah, I might do another Kia Plays Fallout 3 later on today, because I do want to do another stream tonight if I've got the energy. And I know a lot of people like Kia playing Fallout, although now and again I do get people playing it, and despite the thing it being called like Keir Starmer Plays Fallout 3 parody, people going like, why are you doing a weird voice? Yeah, I know GTA 2 has the mission in it where you pick people up in a bus to be ground into hot dogs, and there was a parody of it about like monkeys' meat cubes. You know, pick up the Mobics from the hospital and deliver them to the cubing factory. A bit like the bitch and dog food factory thing from GTA 3. Where, yeah, you make people into hot dogs to sell. I know there's like a really grim GTA 2 mission about that. But like I said, GTA 2, I've got it and all that. It's just I never played much. GTA 2 has a movie? What? Yeah, you must be very young if GTA 5 was a GTA game when you were young. When I was young, as in like a teenager, my parents did, again, the really weird thing. Okay, I'm gonna look this up. GTA 2 movie. $19.99. Oh, I actually used to see that in budget DVD shops. I just didn't know it was actually about Grand Theft Auto, because whenever I saw that in shops, that you know, that particular film, I assumed it is just because Grand Theft Auto is a term in America for like vehicle hijacking. I assumed it had nothing to do with GTA, otherwise I might have actually got that film. But yeah. So when I was a teenager and my parents bought me GTA games, it was like Vice City and GTA 3. Those are the ones I grew up on. Armor Zombies. I haven't really seen a good Armor Zombie mod, in all honesty. I know they in theory exist, because I know there's like the DayZ one, but without players on. But again, I haven't got those mods installed. I'd have to look up which ones they are on compatibility.
Yeah, in the UK at one point, I think around the time maybe Vice City or GTA 4 was doing well. At that time, yeah, it was a physical DVD you could buy because, again, I think because of the success of Grand Theft Auto, lots of the shops were just physically putting it, you know, like a DVD release of it, if that makes sense. But like I said, I still thought they were just doing it because a bit like, the Asylum movies that have nothing to do with the film they're ripping off. I thought it was just a case of this film has a convenient name, so let's try and sell a load of copies. Yeah, I had a nice holiday, thank you, other than the fact it was raining half the time, 3/4 of the time. Still made the most of it. But again, the only problem I have, and I mean this in a really nice way, not a horrible way. The only problem I have when you go on a family holiday is sometimes you get a bit wound up because you're with the people for too long. Like, like doing some stuff with them is nice, but doing stuff with people every day sometimes means that certain family members end up being like argumentative with each other. So it was one of those things where I was like, I'd like this for maybe half the days we did it. Quite rare to say vacation. It's normally holiday, mate. We're going on holiday. Vacation's more of an American word. Like I do use the word vacation now and again, like just because, again, I have to on here remember that if I'm talking to people from other countries, most of the time they know US English, not UK English. Spectrum and Commodore. I've played Commando on the old. Do you mean Commodore, like Commodore 64? I was gonna say I have played loaders. Again, my first proper console was a PS1, but we did have an old 3.1 Windows DOS. We used to have that where I played the old Prince of Persia 1 and 2, and what else was there? There was one old Super Mario's on there. What else was on the DOS that we had? There were like quite a lot of just puzzle games, but I'm trying to think like what was on there that were games you might have heard of. But like I said, Prince of Persia 1 and 2 were the main ones on there. No, not bootleg PSX. So Windows 3.1. There's some really good YouTube videos. Again, the problem is because people can look into the code too much of it now when it's not console gamers anymore. But there used to be really good like urban legend videos about Red Dead Redemption 1 and like GTA 4 and like Leatherface in San Andreas and all that stuff. Yeah, the waterproof coat I had was really good. I ended up buying waterproof trousers the first day I was away because how wet my legs got. Mum and Dad, basically, and me. But yeah, Worms, the old Worms, and then Worms Armageddon and all of those. Yeah. But yeah, the waterproof trousers I got all right. The jacket was really good, actually. The only problem was if it was a hot, sunny day, but the rain was heavy, that coat was too kind of hot because it was one of those ones where it was a really good waterproof exterior layer. But it's like one of those more like wintry ones, where it has like the kind of polyester lining or whatever it is in it. And again, it's weird with Equalizer why it's got so many like little emojis next to it, unless you're on a phone and it keeps suggesting them. Can't remember without looking Equalizer, but it's one of those ones that they do in different high vis colors. I've got it in black, but it does have the high vis like stripes along it. Where it's got like an ID pouch on it. It's got loads of zip up and button up pockets. I think it has an internal wallet pocket as well, but I just use the big like button up exterior ones. No, I don't have a Mark V. Mark Vs are really rare to the extent a lot of people don't think they exist, even though they do. I've got a Mark III and a Mark IV helmet somewhere, but the Mark V is actually really rare because it's basically just a Mark IV helmet with a better liner. But there's so few of them got made that some people are like, they don't exist, even though you can find pictures of them online. There's actually a Mark IV just with a better liner. So essentially a Mark IV helmet in terms of how much it protects your head. But yeah, that's why essentially the British helmets went Mark IV to Mark VI, because there is a Mark V helmet that, again, it was one of those ones that I assume it wasn't even a new steel shell being made for it. I assume it was just a case of them, like, retrofitting Mark IVs with a better liner. But yeah, so I don't have a Mark V. I've never seen one even for sale. Like I said, there are pictures of them you can find online, And that makes complete sense why there is physically, because it would be really weird if they had a Mark IV helmet and it went straight to Mark VI. So like I said, the Mark V bit it's not really anything better than just a Mark IV with a better looking liner. Yeah, Mark IIIs and Mark IVs are great because they are just literally a steel bowl helmet. They got the Brodie helmet, the World War II one, which I should have around here somewhere, but of course I probably put it somewhere I can't see it, so I can't demonstrate it. Oh, look, there's the FMJ08 now. Nobody's asking about it, where I couldn't find it the other day. But yeah, regarding the Brodie helmet or whatever, it's basically that, like the Mark III, but it's obviously it goes like that rather than it going down and then on the ridges. So it's kind of the same circumference, just more of a bowl. Yeah, there's a pile of gas masks behind me. I'm hoping that pile might go down a bit over the next month or two as I try and sell them. But like I said, the problem is I have to Equalizer says I have a big helmet on my, what is that, big white cock? Or do you mean something else? But yes. That's the sort of helmet you might get banned if you show that on YouTube. Storm go, oh, I think you're endangering the children. I'll have you sent away forever with my rent boys. But yeah, the weirdest Mark III or Mark IV helmet I've got, because again, I can't tell them apart easily unless I properly look at them, is the one with the commie hammer and sickle on it. And the theory is, because again, I got it at like a place that was selling loads of Mark III or Mark IV helmets really cheaply in bulk. So, it was like where you paid a $5 a helmet. And that was one of the ones I picked out just because it was bloody weird. It's painted white, like a grey kind of cream white. And it's got a massive red hammer and sickle on it. And the theory is it's one of two things. Either like some theatre group bought a Mark IV helmet and painted it for like some sort of play. So they wanted a communist soldier. So they're like, this is the cheapest helmet we can find, paint it and stencil on a hammer and sickle. Or it was used in war games for like Op4 troops. So it's either an official British Army one that was like painted like that for, opposing force soldiers in war game exercises, or it's from a stage play. It's pretty cool just because it's like a random Mark IV helmet that's been fully painted like white, like a grey kind of white cream colour. And then it's got a giant red hammer and sickle, like stenciled onto the front of it. Yeah, if you can tell by the background, I'm back from holiday because I'm not green screening it on behind me. I'm back from holiday. Yeah, I got back yesterday. Although yesterday I did a stream not long after I got back, and I went to bed about 7 p.m. and was asleep by 8 p.m. I was just knackered. I think just because of how many mornings we got up quite early. We're out walking or hiking all day or whatever and stuff like that. So as soon as I got a day where I could just sit down and go, all right, I don't need to do anything now, my brain was like, What's the term cucumber salad in referral to in Finland? Again, the problem is when you get a lot of people saying things. Yeah, again, until Kevlar helmets came around, Budder, you literally didn't have anything but steel pots. And again, you also get the weird thing with steel pots where some nations... like if I've got both the French ones handy, I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, I do. Okay, so this is sort of interesting. Hang on. So this is the French ripoff. If it finds my head again. Right, this is the French ripoff of the USM1, the M51 helmet. So this is literally where the French were like, oh, I need to get the camera to pan up. Hang on. So, yeah, this is the French rip-off of the USM1 helmet where they didn't want to pay a license. So the French used up until, I think, the 70s or the 80s, and then they actually did replace this, which the helmet they replaced it with is actually really nice, but it had the problem I think the British Mark 7 helmet had of, it came into service at about the time it was going to be phased out for something else. So then they replaced it with these. Ignore the dent in the top. I got this one really cheap because it had a dent in it. Originally, I was going to use it to test some ballistic stuff on and see if I could burn through it with a laser. But yeah, this is a surprisingly nice helmet. So yeah, this is the French. I can't remember the name of it without looking it up. But this is the one that was like their 1970s, 1980s replacement for the M1 helmets, and apparently it's like one of the best steel helmets in terms of like ballistic protection along with the East German M56. As in, it's fairly heavy, but it's fairly good quality thick steel. But again, it is still literally a bowl helmet. And again, the only real thing you see change in a lot of the bowl helmets over like the steel bowl helmets over the decades is just the liners get a bit better. Because like again, you can see with this one, it's got quite a good cushioning sort of system at the top, potentially. Whereas you know, like a lot of the older ones don't. But yeah, but then the French didn't have this in service very long before again Kevlar sort of came into use, and they replaced these with like whatever their first gen Kevlar helmet was. What an epitome in deciding to dive into the pile of surplus. Are you on about, did Ukraine have some what helmets? Ukraine's helmets prior to the war would have either been, I think they probably had a domestic like kind of Kevlar helmet, but Ukraine mostly just had the old Soviet stuff like the SSH-40, SSH-68. If that's what you're asking. The problem with homemade helmets is, again, it has to be a good quality steel equalizer that is actually good at not kind of breaking horribly. Because, again, that's part of the problem with a lot of old steel military helmets, is they had to get the steel kind of tempering right, that the helmet wouldn't crack. Because part of the problem with helmets is that you want the helmet to be hard enough steel that, you know, it's good at stopping stuff. But if the steel is too hard, like an impact can crack the helmet and like break it really easily. Yes, we did have that guy doing Russian helmets are the best helmets in the world and the best grenades in the world and all that shit. The Vatnik, yeah. Again, some of the Soviet helmets were all right. And again, apparently modern Russian helmets up to the point that they all got sold off due to corruption and all the Mobics wearing them died. You know, they did apparently have some all right Kevlar helmets, but the problem is, yeah, a helmet is just a helmet. You know, it's better, it's way better than not having a helmet, but it only goes so far. What gas mask tube is sticking out? Where are you looking? That's the GP4M, I think. Oh. Yeah, that's a very dusty, I need to wash it, GP4M. Yeah, I don't want to get that dust on me. But yeah, like I said, those, like we were on about before, like the Russian, like massive kind of helmets with the visors are cool, even though they're a rip-off of the Swiss helmet anyway. They didn't design them themselves. But again, like finding a genuine one that isn't like a shitty airsoft one is really hard nowadays. Yeah, again, loads of stuff like that is propaganda. Have you ever seen the US Future Soldier program? That's really cool. Again, it was like it never went. US Future Soldier program. Google image that US Future Soldier program. Not the modern one. Like again, most of the pictures annoyingly coming up on images are the it's then search 1959 because I'm on about the Cold War one. But yeah, that's a really kind of cool thing with like the NVGs flipping down on the helmet, like the weird face mask. Soldier of Tomorrow. There you go, this thing. No, this predates Vietnam. So again, they had like nylon as in like early Kevlar, like ballistic nylon. Yeah, infrared binoculars, so like early NVGs, explosive foxhole diggers, jump bout. I assume jump bout isn't like a jetpack. I'm assuming a jump bout is just kind of some sort of like accessory thing. Yeah, here's some more pictures of it, like colorized ones. Too long for YouTube. Thanks, YouTube, and thanks websites of shitty long URLs because you can't make a reasonable size URL. But yeah, here's another picture of it. So yeah, you've got like an early flak jacket on there. I think that's just binoculars or something hanging from his thing. I don't think that's like a proper scope for the rifle. But yeah, like I said, the US Future Soldier program was kind of cool looking. Again, didn't kick off, but it is cool looking. Very very OG book Starship Troopers sort of thing. Here's a cool thing of it, like on a magazine cover. So there's like a dead World War II soldier or something. Is it saying that if you had this you'd survive, but if you had a Garand or whatever you'd be dead? I don't quite get the thing. The Marines' new way to fight. But yeah, the again, it looks really cool and futuristic, but sadly we only get shitty futurism. Again, the M81 stuff was really cool though. I love the Pasca era of stuff. I think that's like the most Kino looking of the American stuff. Just like how with the British stuff, I love the Mark 6 and the like L85 look. Even if a load of the gear was fucking shit, it looked cool. Oh, the Shums. You're on about the Shums. It's probably in this room somewhere. There it is. Doesn't need to look it up. I've got it right here. So you see, sometimes even in the piles and piles of fucking shit, I know where stuff is. Yeah, this is a cool mask. I like this one. You know, a very limited field of view, but at least you can use the scope and it works with the scope, which is kind of the point of this mask. It's an optical mask. You can actually hear what people are saying they're wearing it, unlike with the GP5 or whatever. It's certainly not my favourite gas mask ever made, but this is my favourite Soviet one out of all our actual gas masks. Like I said, the best Soviet masks, if you ever get a chance to have a look at one, in terms of quality, and when I dig through my stuff and start selling stuff, I'll be able to dig it out and show it again on the video, is the IP4M rebreather, because the quality on that is so much better than most of the other Soviet stuff. But again, it's because it's a rebreather and it was made for specialized troops. They didn't have to worry about mass production costs for Mobics, but it's got an oral nasal cup in it. It's got good adjustable straps, everything that's not in a normal Soviet mask. Yeah. Good quality voice diaphragm as well. What do you mean by paintbrush they used? I'm confused. Paintbrush they use what? I don't think anybody mentioned a paintbrush. If you're on about the like painting thing for the Future Soldier thing, I have no idea. It's just an old magazine cover. It's like the old way they used to do pulp covers. But yeah, that's a hand drawn thing because it's old, so it's either pencils coloured in or like painted. I don't know which, but I'm gonna save that picture. I quite like that picture of the guy with the M14, even though the M14 is a shit rifle, and that's gonna upset people, but most people think that. They remind me a bit, looking at the Future Soldier things, of the Snow Troopers in Empire Strikes Back, actually. It's probably like those flappy sort of face coverings. Yeah, I get kind of Snow Trooper vibes, right? Especially if they had a Stowhound. But yeah, sadly it didn't catch on. Somebody says hello in, I guess, with an Arabic name. Hello, you okay? I assume that's Arabic. I don't know how translating it. Anyway, what else should we talk about that's interesting? So yeah, like I said, Starmer wants to definitely now stop you doing anything interesting online, as in like, oh, right-wing thuggery, scan all your messages to stop the CP, even though, I want to scan adults as well. And, and then I definitely won't have everything you've ever sent people backed up to use against you at a later point. Again, don't know what you mean, R3Po. Yeah, it is Oliver, isn't it? The truth is there's something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there? Apologies. My hay fever's bad today. It's a lot worse in Oxford area than it was at the coast. So, yeah. Also, you can see where I've got a bit of sunburn as well, so I will need to start putting some cream on. I'm just going to need a shave today as well. But yeah, that's the thing. Even though I took some eczema cream away with me, it was like, just one of those things where you get the sort of wind on your face and obviously the sun and everything, and then yeah, your skin starts peeling off again. Rusty spoons. I put the Kraut one on, the Kraut fireman's helmet. Guten Morgen. And this one, there's a battery in this. Yeah, there is. Good. This one should still glow in the dark. Yeah, see that? Again, it's going to be... Let me unplug that a minute. But yeah, like I said, I really like this glow-in-the-dark German helmet. It's good fun. But yeah, this is actually a post-war style helmet, this one. This isn't one of the World War II ones painted white, although they did do that. This one is, because you can see by the vents, is a bit different. But yeah, this is where they still use the style helmet just for firemen's helmets. And then, oh, yeah, it's pointing the wrong way. Right. Yeah, that really confused the camera there. Yeah, so you can see where it's just got like the leather liner in it. It's got a bit of plastic, a bit like a hard hat in there. And you just put it on like this, and then you have the German helmet. I've been avoiding gluten foods and things like that. But again, I do have eczema. So like I said, it's not fungus, it's eczema. Because again, I can completely get rid of it and it will just come back. Again, I've been to the doctors loads of times since being a kid. Not a solution for it other than, cleaning your face, putting stuff on it. And again, I'm not one of those people that is going to spend every fucking day, wiping weird creams that cost loads of money into my skin because, a dermatologist says they might work better. Because again, when I used to try that, you'd spend loads of money and it would never fix it anyway. Because, where I've got colitis, eczema, whatever else, my immune system just hates me. So there we go. I've tried steroid creams. Again, they work for a bit, but the second I stop using them, and you're not meant to keep using them every day at all, within a day it starts coming back. It's one of those things I just can never get rid of, essentially. Like I said, the thing is, if I did a stream, and immediately before I did the stream, like I scrubbed my face and all that, although it would look a bit red, you wouldn't see any dead skin or whatever. But the problem is, like I said, as soon as I've basically gone a bit of a day without anything on there. Yeah, but the thing is, my scalp isn't like that. Because I used to use Nizoral and I used to get really bad dandruff when I was younger. But now I basically just shave my hair. I can just basically wipe my scalp with water without detergent and it's fine. Because again, that's another problem. I have a lot of proper detergents or whatever, various soaps and whatever, just make my skin worse. Because again, they just cause a reaction to it. So it's 7:33 p.m. where you are. It's 12:36 here. Yeah, so annoyingly, it's like one of those things, like I said, where sometimes it will look better for a while, but I've never found anything that actually works well. Yeah, that's the same. When I shave my hair, that's the main thing I like, because it's very easy to just wash it gently with water without horrible soaps. Is KLMK Digiflora, as in what the skeleton's got on? That's shit, Camel. I genuinely think it is shit. Loads of people like the look of it, but it's absolutely shit when you see it from a distance, because it just looks like a green blob. Like from Ukraine, multicam works better for the Russians and that stuff. But yeah, like I said, if anybody wants to suggest certain types of eczema cream or whatever, I'll give them a shot. But like I said, the main problem I've had is nearly every single thing I've ever been suggested by a doctor or whatever has never worked. And again, yeah, as Daniel says, it doesn't surprise me of all the shit that's in food now, all the stuff they add to water, that, if you've got skin that's at all sensitive, it's going to get fucked up by a load of stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, with ulcerative colitis and whatever, bear in mind, I get scarring or ulcers on the inside of, like I said, my colon, and I have to take daily medication for that because my immune system is just shit, basically. I'm not sure. Let me Google it. What used to work really well for me when I was younger, it's prescription only. Can't remember. Contact dermatitis, eczema. Again, if I can get a doctor's appointment, which is fucking hard to do now with an actual doctor, I could ask them if I can have it. But normally every time I've gone and asked, they'll go like, oh, just try this over the counter thing first. And then you have to keep seeing the same doctor, which you can't do for a couple of times, to finally get them to prescribe you something good. And then, like I said, even if it works while it's on prescription, my skin starts going bad again as soon as the prescription ends. And they won't give you that on repeat prescription, that shit. So like, oh, you'll get too used to it or whatever. Brown electronic. Oh, that's and that actually also glows. Although, where did I put that torch? That is a Polish vehicle-based Geiger counter. So it's not got the probes attached to it. But what that is the control unit for the different radiation ranges and everything for a vehicle. So a bit like the Soviet DP3, although that's actually a Geiger counter unit, that one, not a ionization chamber. Basically, you wire it into the vehicle's like 12 or 24 volt supply. And basically what it does is, you'd have the probe and then, it's a radiation detector for your vehicle. So basically when it goes off scale 1, you turn the scale up. And it's to tell you how bad after a nuclear blast it is with radiation. The exact same thing as the Soviet DP3, but that one's not as good. And my DP3 broke and I sold it a while ago, annoyingly, because the old parts wear out. Yeah, again, Caleb, like you said, even if you only cook with like cast iron or whatever, everything is in plastic packaging now. And sorry, Aspiel Packer says, yeah, docs have the fear of steroids unless you have literally no alternative. So they shouldn't be overused, but I think they're definitely using this. Again, there's so many medications. Again, with my colitis, right, there was apparently a thing the NHS was going to trial, or they trialed it and it worked really well. Where it was like you could go to the hospital or whatever, or the doctors, they'd give you an injection every however many months, and apparently it was really good for controlling colitis. Guess what? It probably cost too much money. So they then said to everybody that was looking forward to being able to have it, nah, you can't have that. So yeah, it was one of those things that, was really good at autoimmune sort of suppression. And you could have it, like as an injection every couple of months rather than taking medication daily. But of course, when the cost came through, they were like, oh no, we could use that money for Ozempic because fat people can't control their eating. And again, I know Ozempic is good for some people that have weight issues because of other reasons. But generally, yeah, you could just try not eating as much fucking food. Like, I don't know why, again, I think stuff like Ozempic should be private for the most part, not like given out on the NHS. Yeah, like I said, Aspiel Packer, it sounds like it's useful, but like I said, the problem is if I can get an appointment, yeah, and again, depends which doctor I get, because with the doctor surgery I go to, there's a couple of doctors that are very good, but I've also had doctors there that are, literally the ones that like, you're wasting my time coming in about anything. Because again, somebody I know doesn't, all right, Rajiv, somebody I know doesn't use that doctor's surgery anymore because when they had cancer, they kept going in with their cancer symptoms and the doctors kept fobbing them off. And it was only after I think they were getting worse and worse, they went into like a walk-in health place and demanded a blood test that they were like phoned back within a couple of hours and like, you need to come in and see us right now. And then luckily with chemotherapy and everything, they did survive it. But, the doctors could have caught it earlier and they kept just fobbing them off. Yeah, and again, this is the worst time of year for my stuff, Eric, because again, of like the hay fever gets bad at this time of year. Oh, yeah, so they're doing that. I don't think you have, mate, Caleb. Yeah, sounds about right, doesn't it? Yeah, don't think you have, mate. Don't think that exists, that does. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky with COVID that I never was that bad from COVID, but again, I know some people have had massive issues with it, so... But yeah, like I said, that's the problem with doctors, is you can get really good ones, but you can also get ones that can just be dicks. One of the biggest problems I've had with doctors every now and then, I think depending on who's working or who's doing prescriptions, is obviously I'm on like obviously repeat prescriptions for a lot of the stuff because it's chronic illness that, you'll never recover from. unless they magically find a cure. But like I was saying with the colitis stuff, where you have to take, like a couple of the sachets per day, and other medications I'm on regarding it. And I've had doctors before that keep like refusing my repeat prescriptions, and they're like, "Oh, I don't think you actually need this." It's like, you're not the fucking consultant I saw at the hospital. They are the people that know what I'm meant to be taking, not a GP just guessing like, "Oh, I know better than a consultant. I don't think you need this medication." Yeah, that's a good idea, Caleb. Like I said, what I'm going to do after this stream is give my face a good wash. And I have got some cream I quite like that is just kind of like one of the, like not even over-the-counter ones that is good for just moisturizing my skin. So I will put that on. Again, it's not going to fix it, but it would look better than it does now. And like I said, I need a shave as well because I didn't bother taking a shaver with me on hospital. So not hospital, on holiday. Didn't go on hospital for a week. But yeah, and again, I've got a bit of suntan, which is probably visible on here as well. Because again, probably should have worn sun cream all while. But like I said, last week was like a mix of being incredibly cloudy and rainy and then really bright on other days. Yeah, sounds annoying, Max Plays, but yeah, like I said, Roger, that's the problem. Like I said, I know some people have really, really good doctors, and that they could reliably get appointments with them. But the problem is, like I said, at my doctor's surgery, there's a couple of really good doctors, some that are a bit meh, depending what you go in for. They might be really good or they might be crap. And then there's some doctors I think most people want to avoid because they're the ones that, just basically argue with you and tell you that you're wasting their time. Yeah, I played shitloads of Red Dead Redemption 2 during COVID. Mostly, actually, not the single player, Red Dead Online with mates who are also on furlough. Yeah, and I agree. And there's a lot of stuff now, Oliver, as well, isn't there, that doctors don't even deal with that they used to deal with. Like where you used to go and see the doctor and they'd sort you out for something. And now they do the thing of like, oh, you have to go and pay and have this done privately. Yeah, the worry with something like COVID is if it mutates into a nastier strain. Again, with the hantavirus, let me ask, I want to have a look at this because I haven't actually looked in a while. Did the 2026 hantavirus outbreak end? Because I don't know if they actually finished containing it. Mostly yes, but health authorities have not formally declared it completely over. Okay, but yeah, for the most part, that outbreak did stop. I know they don't do ear syringing anymore and a few of the things like that. I've bought home ear syringing kits and I use them a lot. As in I've got, it's a bit disgusting, but here we go. I've got one of like the actual doctor style ear syringing kits that I bought from China. Because again, good luck buying the good type of stuff like that in the UK. Because they're like, oh, you're not qualified to use that. So I bought one of those from China off AliExpress, like again, because you can buy medical equipment off there. And I brought one of the ear vacuums, for getting wax out, because the problem is I have really narrow ear canals, and this has been a thing with a lot of people in my mum's side of the family, that they just get blocked ears constantly and like ear pain. And yeah, so that's one of the things. Apparently they don't do ear syringing at the doctors anymore, even though it was a thing they used to just do routinely with a nurse, that you could get like an appointment in a week's time, put olive oil in your ear for a week or whatever, and then they just blast the wax out. And apparently they don't do that anymore. So like I said, I've just got all the gear at home. So yeah, I've got like a proper industrial grade one with the tank where all the dirty wax drains into, because it's got a vacuum on it as well as the spray bit, and like the bit you fill up with the clean water. And I've got, like I said, one of those proper ear vacuum things with a rubber hose that because again, you see my eczema there. Look, see, I get it on the inside of my ears as well. Like I said, yeah. So I'm very scaly. Hey, smooth skin. I'll end up looking like a ghoul from Fallout without even trying. Yeah, that's the thing, Oliver. So many people I know have gone private. And from what I gather, private is generally very good. The problem is you have to be able to afford it. And like everything in this country, people are generally getting poorer, not richer, because of the cost of everything going up. And then, yeah, oh, great, you're having to pay for stuff that used to be on the NHS. Probably because all the doctors and engineers we imported get priority service on the NHS. Like somebody else said earlier in the thing. Yeah, Gorilla Balls said, yeah, they won't help you because you're not from a third world country. Yeah, like apparently loads and loads of people have said this, that like in the asylum hotels, Apparently they get like private doctors they pay to just go around and check everybody up like once a week. It's like, oh great, I don't get that service, you know. And apparently as well, like if you go to a lot of NHS waiting rooms, they've got the signs in loads of languages now, with interpreters that cost the taxpayer a load of money, because why should people that live in England learn English? What a racist thought I've had there. Because again, if I went to a foreign country, you know, I'd probably expect if I got ill, I'd have to pay for an interpreter, or it'd have to be done on like, you know, medical insurance or whatever. But now apparently on the NHS, like, you know, we just the taxpayers that we get mugged off doing that. Yeah, Caleb, that's the other problem with private health insurance. I've known a few people with this issue that, yeah, like they try and weasel out of helping you with certain things because they say, oh yeah, it's pre-existing or it's technically not something we cover. One of my friends did have something wrong with him at one point. I can't remember what it was. And the insurance didn't want to cover it. But luckily, another private doctor he saw said, we're going to refer you for these tests for just a made-up reason. So you can get the test done on your insurance. So that was good. But yeah, again, it's like you shouldn't have to do that. Which one's PHI? Or is that private health insurance? Because I know PIP is the disability one. And again, that is one of the things that I won't blame Labour too much for, is apparently they aren't too bad with PIP at trying to force every fucking disabled person off it like the Tories were doing. You know, where like, oh, all these people with chronic, you know, disabilities, you know, like somebody who can't walk. Because there was one guy, wasn't there, under the Tories? He was like a paraplegic after being blown up in Afghanistan or Iraq, like a former soldier. And they literally said, oh, I think you can walk just fine. They cut his benefits and he killed himself. Like, some of those fucking scum, yeah. Sorry, I do get quite angry about shit like that. Yeah, again, Saint, this is the problem, is we need a sensible way of figuring out who's abusing a system like that and all the people that deserve it. And yet, Khaled makes a good point. Again, this is a thing, Khaled, that I think is a very good point. I think people generally, lots of these things should be prioritized for citizens first, not for foreigners. But what Labour has done is they've done that thing of especially illegal immigrants, which makes it worse because they're just leeching off the system, not ever paying anything in. They're the ones that apparently, like, you know, like the Bell Hotel in Epping, where the government literally took the council to court to argue that the rights of the illegal immigrants comes above British citizens. So again, they showed their true colours there. Again, it's because we got a lawyer-type class in charge that just don't use common sense. Again, sake no, but is there a good way of doing that? What I'd worry about is if it then starts getting used in a bad way. You know, like, oh, you know, this person's abusing PIP, even though, like, you know, they might clearly be disabled, and then fuck them over even harder. Was that universal credit? Yeah, people have told me to look into universal credit, and I've not done it yet. But like I said, what I'm planning on doing is next month, as soon as I can start working, you know, start applying for jobs and just go on fucking job seekers if I can't find anything, if the employment stuff is as bad as people have said. But yeah, Aspiel, he did stuff like that. He also used to try and prosecute British soldiers for made-up war crimes. And he also used to get like horrible murderers off the hook in third world countries that would have got the death sentence. As in, for example, there was like an axe murderer in somewhere in Africa and one that like buried kids alive. And someone was like, oh, it's against their human rights to be put to death for murdering all those children. I'll get him off. That's my good loyalty duty. Oh, yeah. Those sort of people, exactly, Khaled. Yeah, you can definitely get those. But, you know, I'm just sort of saying I just worry with some stuff like that because I know the Tories did fuck over a load of people that were genuinely disabled. I'm worried that you might get the same thing of like, oh, because you had a week where your illness wasn't quite as bad as it sometimes is, you're faking it. Because, again, with some of the disabilities people get, you do get disabilities where, you know, sometimes they're worse 1 week than another week. Depending on, you know, certain disabilities, you know, so there are ones I know where, like, because apparently when you do PIP stuff, you're always meant to tell them like the worst it ever is. Because if you tell them, like, you know, if you say, well, this week I'm having a good week, they're more likely to say, oh, you don't need it then. Yeah, Starmer's literally ticks every box, doesn't he, Oliver, of being just a fucking scumbag. Equal, I said, loads of jobs going in the UK from the major. Like I said, I'm hoping to find one. like I said, in my area, I don't know, because I know lots of places that have lowered the amount of staff they hire to cut costs. But I don't know many places that are ever advertised as recruiting near me. So again, and the problem is, if it's not on a bus route, I can't do it, because I need to, even though I've got a driving license, I'd have to buy a car and pay all the insurance and fuel costs, which I can't afford to do unless I'm working. So, you run into those sort of problems. But yeah, I agree that the people who lie about it, like that are perfectly healthy and get caught with video evidence or whatever, faking a disability to get money or whatever, I definitely agree those people should be sued to pay it back to the state. Yeah, I don't know if there's any factories near me, but I'll have to look into it. But like I said, what I'm planning on doing is, start applying for jobs that I'd be able to do and just see what happens. Yeah, but they're the legal migrants. Again, this is the thing that annoys me, Caleb. So, right. So your wife is a foreigner who obviously wants to contribute and everything else. And I bet she has a harder time getting British citizenship and getting all the things she should be entitled to than somebody that isn't legal. Because I've heard this from so many people. Yeah, exactly. This is the problem. That so somebody who comes over here that is a skilled migrant that marries a British man or a British woman or whatever, and that would actually contribute to this country, the government's almost going, fuck off, we don't want you. But when it's, oh, you're going to come here, you're going to take money out of our system, and then you're going to commit crimes, great, the British mugs can pay for you. And again, oh, I'm a far-right Nazi for saying it or whatever. Like, no, I think it's just observable fact that you can look at. And again, I'm not saying everybody that, claims asylum is necessarily an illegal immigrant, but I'm saying, yeah, again, Photonic Induction did a massive thing about that, where he was considering self-deleting himself, to use the YouTube words that are friendly, because of all the nightmare stuff. I think his wife was an Indian doctor. Like, he married a woman in India that was a doctor. So, in theory, she could have worked for the NHS or whatever. And she, when she was trying to come over, like, there was so many, like, extra bills they kept putting on them, more and more citizenship tests. And I've heard from other channels, a thing like where their, like, partners or whatever had to keep saying, like, if they moved house, they had to let people know a certain amount of days in advance before the move. Like, you had to keep reporting where you were almost at all times. I don't know about Belfast, but a day or two ago, saying in the Republic of Ireland somewhere, an asylum hotel got properly smashed up, and I think some people got beaten up. I think it was the place where some African woman decided to mock the guy getting his head cut off on the street. Like, she was mocking them, and people were getting really angry, and the police called. I don't know if that was actually in the Republic or Northern Ireland. And I saw on that same evening, like, a load of blokes went to the local asylum hotel that, they're paying their tax money for, which was in, like, a nice sports centre, and were doing a bit of bother. Again, I can't condone that sort of stuff. It's criminal damage and assault or whatever. But are we surprised people are getting pissed off to the point they think they have to take the law into their own hands? Yeah, kind of don't forget the ones where it's racist or whatever to do dental checks or on them or whatever to check how old they are. Did you see the thing about some really dodgy looking fucking bloke that had been put in a little kid's school because he's like, oh, I am 16 or whatever, and they went, okay, and he was like clearly like, yeah, in his 30s or 40s with a beard and whatever else. So you had this noncy looking bloke just put next to all these little kids, and you're like, he is clearly not fucking it. Oh, but it'd be racist to do do a dental check, wouldn't it, and see how old he really is. Yeah, and that Oliver was a Pakistani man stabbing a Pakistani girl. And so, was that an honor killing type thing? Well, we won't know because the media won't report on it properly. But, that could again be like, oh, she has the wrong kind of boyfriend or whatever. I need to stab her in the neck. I won't do a racist African voice because he wasn't even African. But, I'm going to stab her now because she's dishonored my family or some bullshit. Not really interested in vintage 44. I've got a couple of radios like this one. Hang on. Oh, this is the one with the shoddy. Hang on. I'll just turn it on here. So I've got ones like the Radtel and some other ones like that. Which, if the local airfield's talking, I can pick that up with it. But I think I've got another radio in the front room. But you know, but I've not really got CD or ham radio. I've got, like I said, some ones you can do encrypted stuff on, like these ones. These are pretty cheap ones you can actually encrypt, which is nice. But, you know, I've only really got, like, the kind of security-style infantry radios and not the big encrypted type. Like I said, I don't find radios not interesting, but it's one of those things, again, where I'd be spending even more money, taking up more room if I got into it. Saint says, I'm getting sick of this country. Time to go and live in the Finnish wilderness. I've got a Baofeng somewhere, but like I said, some ones I've got are slightly nicer than the Baofeng models. But yeah, those kind of things. Starmat, did I just hear encryption? You will be exterminated. Yeah, exactly. Encryption. No, we have to get rid of end-to-end encryption so I can see all your messages. And if there is, you know, they're saying they're doing it to protect the kids, aren't they? As usual. Oh, you know, but if they wanted to protect the kids, why didn't they do anything about the grooming gangs and stuff like that? Yeah, I really trust this government wants to protect the fucking kids. But yeah, like I said, so radios are one of those things, they kind of interest me, but not enough to spend any more money on it. Oh yeah, I like the term walkie-talkie. Yeah, won't somebody figure the children? Isn't that the Reverend's wife in The Simpsons? Again, apparently the new Simpsons has been shit for years, but the classic series are pretty good for the first, like, 10 years or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. But yeah. But yeah, because like I was saying earlier, I think if they want to have a copy of every message and photo you send, the government will both blackmail with you anything. There might be a sexual nature or whatever you send to somebody, even if it's two consenting adults sending dick pics or whatever to each other. Then the government's going to use that to blackmail you at some point. They'll basically build up cases against you with stuff you're saying, even if it's a joke. And again, if they're saying, oh, it's to stop child abuse material, I bet you somebody like Starmer is like, oh, I would love a copy of all of those images just to check it's legit child abuse material. You know, like, yeah, I do not trust these fuckers at all. Is the guy who voiced Homer still alive or dead? I know the Troy McClure guy was the guy killed by his wife, wasn't he? So this Homer guy is still alive. He was born in 1957. I don't know if he's still doing The Simpsons, though. Yeah, it says to 2026, so he's still doing Homer, but I don't know about any of the other actors. But yeah, the Troy McClure voice actor is quite interesting. The guy that did him and Lionel Hutz in The Simpsons, because he was the one that was like murder S-sided by his wife, wasn't he? If you know about that case. A bit like again, to bring the mood down, the little girl who voiced Ducky the dinosaur in The World Before Time, or whatever it's called, The Land Before Time. Same sort of thing happened. Lionel Hutz voice actor. Yeah, Phil Hartman, that's it. So yeah, Phil Hartman, because he was also a Saturday Night Live guy, wasn't he? Yeah, his wife, I think, shot him and then shot herself. Yeah, he was in Jingle All the Way, yeah. There was another one that somebody told me I used to work with. I haven't looked this up, but apparently, you know, Rosie and Jim on the old ragdoll, that one about the Rosie and Jim puppets. I can't remember if it was books they were based on or the series, but a guy involved in it got done for nonsense kids or something. So again, another one of those, oh, thanks, that's ruined my fun out of it. I haven't actually seen that episode. What year is that from? I can't remember that one. Yeah, yeah, with the Ducky. The dad, I think, killed the daughter and the wife, and then killed himself. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, there's a load of sad shit like that. Again, it's also really sad when you look up actors that you used to like actors or singers or whatever. And you find out that they've S-sided or like died of an overdose or whatever due to depression or whatever. Because yeah, that's like one of those really fucking weird things, like where you like, you know, watch somebody again. It's like it's a bit different if they die of old age or die of, you know, illness related to old age. But when you look at an actor that shouldn't be that old, and then you're like, oh, I wonder if they did anything recently, and then you're like, oh, they were, you know, they suffered deep depression, and then they off themselves. You're like, oh, that's made my day just less enjoyable. I'll Google it. Simpsons Lisa reactor Geiger counter. Whoa, that thing's gonna blow. Drop this toy and run. But yeah, what episode's that from? Oh, we're on the Simpsons fandom wiki. Fat Man and Little Boy is the episode. So that is from 2004. Yeah, so probably no surprise I've not seen that episode. I might watch it just because you're on about the radiation stuff in it. But yeah, I definitely probably haven't really watched any Simpsons post 2000. Because it started in 89, didn't it? So most of the good seasons were probably prior to 2000. That's really sad, Khaled. Yeah, again, there's loads of stuff like that where you hear of actors that have either had an overdose because of depression or whatever, especially because some of them on screen give off the impression that they're, you know, like really happy people. And then you find out, you know, behind everything that, right, yeah, enjoy your Player Unknown Battlegrounds. Didn't know people still played that. But yeah, there's loads of things like that with singers and actors and whatever else. Jim will fix it. Rolf Harris, yeah.
Can you tell what it is yet? Of course you can't. You're just a little kid.
Yeah, two little boys playing with Rolf's toys. There's also the 69 Club, isn't there? Where a load of people die at 69. So I've survived the 27 Club. Again, there's a lot of them, aren't there? Yeah, where it's just like, again, I've seen that as well with like actors even that died of cancer quite young. Because I remember there was a woman that was in, is it John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness that's pretty attractive? And she was in something else. I was like, oh, I recognize her. I wonder what she's been in because I haven't seen her other than the 80s stuff. And she died of cancer. Yeah, let me look up who it was. IMDb Prince of Darkness. So that's 1987. Alice Cooper's in that film as well, just pointlessly. Is it Lisa Blount? Yeah, died in 2010 of a blood disorder. Yeah, so she was like 50 at most. So yeah, another one of just, you know, where somebody died way too young. Yeah, or jingle jangle jewelry, jingle jangle jewelry, lovely, lovely, lovely. That one. Up me cabriale. That one. I like the Cunt and the Gang one, although I can't sing the lyrics on here. But the Cunt and the Gang one's good, especially when he did it at Download Festival when he wasn't meant to, whatever it was. Made Jimmy Savile do what he did. He fixed it for them. Whatever. They fixed it for him to stick little Jim in the privates of some kids. Yeah. But yeah, the Cunt and the Gang one's good. Because again, that's the whole thing of like, you know, making fun of horrible things doesn't mean you're endorsing it. It's just, you know, having a laugh about how horrible some of that stuff is. Oh, something fell over again. Surely those marathons and charity races offset my spunking on teenagers' faces. I don't know if I've seen that. I know my mum said when she was on holiday somewhere as a kid, Jimmy Savile was there, and my granddad says, no, that guy's a fucking weirdo, don't you go near him. Probably not in those words, but, you know. Yeah, or as well, if you're like controlled by your family members or whatever that spend your money for you or whatever. All right, Hype, Yeah, we're all good, thank you. We were recently discussing celebrity deaths, which is kind of a sad topic, as in not shitty celebrities, but you know, like ones that used to be ones that you were like, oh, that must be a really lovely person, and you find out that they were like, you know, alcoholics or died of a drug overdose or whatever. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people could pick up on it, and then you were probably told to ignore what's obviously going on, weren't you? A bit like all the stuff going on in Britain today. Now, you're a racist if you notice all these things happening. Shut your lying eyes and stop listening with your lying ears. That's right-wing fuggery. Oh, I bet he liked looking at the kids in the Lido, didn't he? Yeah. Now then, I was about that then. You know. And remember, Keir Starmer had the option to prosecute Jimmy Savile and didn't. Just another Keir fact for you there. Now then, Keir, my good mate. Don't you be prosecuting me. Say it didn't come across your desk. Now then. I'm sure you and Epstein know each other to some degree. Yeah, Rolf Harris, like, I think most people I know genuinely liked Rolf Harris. That's the thing. Sergeant Johnson's voice actor. Which one's Sergeant Johnson? New Sergeant Johnson? Don't even know what this is. Oh, Halo. No, I don't really know anything about this. So let me read your thing, Bink. So, on the note of actors, what's the people new Sergeant Johnson voice actor? I'm personally very sad David Scully or one of his amazing imitators didn't get the role. Again, I haven't really seen anything about the new Halo. I'm not very interested. I only really like the first couple of Halo games, in all honesty. Like Combat Evolved, I really like. I think Combat Evolved is still my favorite Halo game, in all honesty. Yeah, well, maybe they were competitors, Vintage. Maybe they were competitors. Maybe he was like, that man has all the money and all the private jets and the bling bling. I've got my Rolls Royce and my little trailer. Now then. I'm trying to think if there's any other really famous nonces. What were some of the other ones that got done? There was the one, what was the, there was definitely another BBC one that got done for Diddling Boys, I think. Was it somebody Hall? Was it Stuart Hall? Stuart Hall. I think it is this guy. James Stuart Hall is an English former media personality and convicted sex offender. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, exactly, Khaled. Again, if somebody's a nonce, they're a fucking nonce. It doesn't matter if they're diddling boys or diddling girls. They're a fucking nonce. And it's like, oh no, it's you can't have a go at this gay nonce because he's gay. It's like, yeah, I can. If he's a fucking nonce, he's a fucking nonce. Oh, that's interesting, Dave. I haven't seen that one. It's a knockout. That's the one, because I did watch the Stuart, what's his name video on Stuart Millard video about it's the celebrity. It's a knockout with Prince Andrew on, or whatever it was. And that Prince Andrew, there's another one. That's weird. Anything to do with the weather changing or something to do with black bears attacking? Because black bears are normally pretty timid, aren't they? Like, I've very rarely seen black bears in videos get close to people, and if the person does a sudden move, normally a black bear runs away. Because it's like brown bears, like Kodiak bears and polar bears, isn't it? Like grizzlies that are the ones that like chew your fucking face off kind of bears. Fred the Weatherman, let me look up this one. At least the Chuckle Brothers never got done for anything. Fred Talbot, let's have a look. Frederick Wilson Talbot is a British former television presenter and convicted sex offender. There's not even a picture of him on the Wikipedia thing. That's useful, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think I know that one. But so he was a nonce as well. Good to know. All fucking nonces. This country is riddled with them at all levels of power, isn't it? And people like Starmer, when he was head of the prosecutions, can't go after them. Yeah, Gary Glitter. He's more famously like a known one for quite a while, though, isn't he? rock and roll, rock and roll. Because there was even a thing, wasn't there, about when he was like when they did the Joker film, and they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't be allowed to use Rock and Roll Part 2 when the Joker goes down the stairs because of that." Even though, again, I think you can still separate the art from the artist. You know, you can still think people are despicable but can make good art. Yeah, Hugh Edwards exactly read the Queen's funeral thing or whenever it was the Queen died, and then was sending like wanting pics from little boys. Yeah, and now he's trying to again like get like him and Schofield are trying to get back in. You know, and doing, oh, it's my mental health. It's like, no, fuck off. A nonce is a nonce. Oh, so Mel Smith and Rowan Atkinson. Well, like the child capture from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, David. I have to watch that. Yeah, again, they try and normalize fucking everything, don't they? And Hype said the bears are raiding trash bins, snack shops, and restaurants and mauling anyone getting their way. So they've just gone fucking psycho, have they? Yeah, again, so you get people that are innocent accused of it and have their names dragged through the mud, and then the actual ones get away with it normally until they're dead and don't get any punishment for it. Well, like I said earlier about CDV 700, you can still use them, but you know, you can buy something normally far cheaper that works better in a much smaller package. CDV 700s are old vintage, you know, Geiger cameras, but they still work. Yeah, I don't know vintage, and yet again, again when it's accusations that's never proved. I don't personally like saying, you know, there's stuff there or not, because again, the problem is that, you know, it can be very easy for people for having their entire like reputation destroyed and it all turned out to be fake. Like, so were a lot of the Me Too people, weren't there, that had like no evidence they'd ever done anything wrong, but got fucking cancelled for it. Didn't Kevin Spacey get cleared in the end of everything? Yeah, the BBC does have a nonce statue, yeah, about done by a nonce like little boys, didn't he? So yeah. And Hype says DJI is suing Insta360 over patent infringements of the Lunar Ultra. The case got thrown out in China, so now they're trying it in the US. Interesting. Yeah, again, there's a theory, isn't there, that Michael Jackson, again, I don't want to turn this into like some religious thing, but didn't all the pedo stuff come out about Michael, or the accusations, after he said something about the Jews or something? And again, stuff like that is really suspicious, where sometimes it's like, if somebody says politically the wrong thing, then they have the pedo accusation thrown at them. You know, there is a lot of stuff like that where you think, is it like politically motivated assassination? Like, don't get me wrong, I think Wacko Jacko was fucking weird. You know, I think he was a weirdo, but I think that was probably because his dad beat him as a kid and stuff like that, and he just didn't grow up right. I personally don't think he was a nonce. I just think he was weird. And he did make amazing music, so there's that. You know, like I said, art, you can separate the art from the artist. But personally, I don't think, like, if you were to ask me, you know, if I was to bet money on it, do I think he was really innocent or guilty? I think he was innocent of being a pedo. I think he's just weird. Yeah, again, stuff like that, like you're saying, could have had undiagnosed mental health issues. And like you said, like, you know, and his dad used to beat him as a kid, didn't he? And all that sort of shit. So again, that doesn't make people grow up to be healthy. Christfather says, Combat Evolved is a very respectable fade. Bungie certainly put a whole bunch of magic into it. So you'll have the CE remake coming out next month, Halo Campaign Evolved. I mean, I'd need to get some donations to be able to afford it. I've played the remake of Combat Evolved that my friend who really likes the Halo games doesn't like, the one done by 343 Studios, whatever it's called, because he's like, oh, they ruined the tone in like the flood bit and whatever. I enjoyed the remake, but I can understand the artistic thing. Oh, a load of people coming on now, so hello. So yeah, just to shill it again, don't forget I have a Patreon again now. So let me show my Patreon. Let me get the link up for it. So if you're interested in my Patreon, the link is here. Because again, some people said they can donate on Patreon, not on other things. So there you go. There's my Patreon. The only plus you're going to get on there if you donate on there, same as if you're a YouTube member, is I want to do basically monthly Q&As or like things like that. And if you're a YouTube member or a Patreon, I'll try and give you like top priority on the questions. But I'm Duke Nukem. Blow it out your ass. What's my favourite memorabilia? Like what, from anything at any period of time ever? Ooh, that's a good question, actually. Yeah, how strange Equalizer, exactly. Yeah, again, I don't know, Dave. Like some of this stuff, I don't like going too much into the conspiracy side of it. I'm going to put the Stowhelm on again. The glow in the dark Stowhelm. Jawohl. Cosford Air Show is live. Well, is there like a live stream of it anywhere I can get up? Not like I can have it shown on here, but Cosford. Was it Cosford where they had the Hunter crash and kill people on the dual carriageway? I'm watching a live stream at the moment by Core Jets Aviation, but I can't see shit at the moment. If I go back a bit, what's flying there? Is that like is that a Draken flying there? I'm not sure. Because again, the comments aren't going to be live with the thing. Some Apaches. I'm just clicking back. Oh, a biplane. An RAF plane. Can't quite see what was that. A late model Spitfire. There's some Spits. An F-35. People paragliding. I'm just clicking back through it. Is there B-52 or anything cool, or a Vulcan coming up? Because I like the Vulcan going roar. Some sort of drone type plane. That's a bit boring. Oh, hang on. I'll go back to what Legal Nukes are saying. So DJI Hype was replying to him. DJI is the trailblazer. They took good ideas from smaller companies and then they make them actually work. They have real innovators in the drone and gimbal camera space. So, yeah, because again, their drones are good. No precedence in those fields until DJI came up with them. Now DJI is mad that someone is using their own playbook against them. Also, a lot of engineers at Insta360 were former DJI. That reminds me of the thing where, was it Oculus Rift or whatever got sued by some company because they were mad that, you know, like, oh, people that worked for us then went and worked for other companies and knew a lot about that kind of tech, so got hired to do similar tech in other companies. And they're like, oh, you can't do that. That's not fair. It's like, well, VR headsets aren't really a copyrighted idea. Yeah, that's the firefighters one, Sherlock. So the cool thing about this one, again, let me zoom it out a bit and turn that other light off, is this one, and this isn't the best thing for this because this is actually a UVC, like, sterilizer one, not a, yeah, the thing wants to keep going off. Oh, why is it looking at my dick? It's not that kind of stream. Fuck, the auto track gets fucked up by that. Right, let's turn the auto track off and just let's manually pull that up. Zoom in. This is getting very hot, so I can't stream for too much longer. As in my camera, not me. Right, let's try that. So yeah. Just hold it down there a minute. Oh, thank you very much, Christ Follower. Cheers. So you said super epic $10 donation caught in 4K 120 FPS. Thank you very much. And there you go. You can see it's glowing a little bit there. Like the whole thing's painted with UV paint. Not UV paint, sorry. Glow in the dark paint, which is pretty cool. Like I'll try and do face tracking again. Hope it doesn't fuck up. Mein Gott, it doesn't want to track my face. Fegelein. Let me put the proper light. Oh no, no, that's. Oh no. Oh, I turned it off the remote, didn't I? There we go. Yeah, imagine if this was just entirely radium paint, what sort of fucking dose would be coming off of this thing? Yeah, the main drawback to doing that would actually be the cost of the radium. Because this is the interesting thing, if you know about the history of radium paint and shit like that, is one of the main problems with radium was that like Marie Curie and everybody got priced out of using it for future research because of all the big companies buying it up. You can literally use any check source for a CDV 700. Yeah, Chrysler, I know, because YouTube doesn't let you stream in 4K reliably. Like, in theory you can, but every time I've tried streaming in 4K, YouTube's like, oh, your bit rate's too high for YouTube servers or whatever. And again, in 4K, you can see my eczema and all the pop marks in my skin even better. So let's not do that. Just get the NBC one. If you can get them for the similar price, get the NBC one. It's better. I mean, in theory, you can connect the thing to the connect them to the mask just with the adapters, but the CBRN ones don't really cost any more than the normal ones, so just get the CBRN ones. Oh, that's good legal news. Speaking of that, I was on about this recently about how the UK's decided, like, because Hype sent me my DJI drone, so thanks to him. Then it was 249 grams, so it basically came into the, thing of being, anybody can fly it without a license. And then the fucking, Labour went, oh, no, we can't have that. No, lower it to 100 grams. It has to be under 100 grams now to fly it without a license. So at some point soon, when I next want to fly the drone, I'll do the license thing. It's basically where you just fill out a load of questions like, if you see a plane coming, what do you do? Like, immediately land, fly towards the plane to get its attention, things like that. So you always just pick the sensible option. But most of them don't, Saint. You normally need to buy the adapter separately because the thing is, like, Avon ones are different than other ones. So while Camelback do make the adapters, you have to make sure you get the right type for your mask. But again, if you were watching the pro drone flyers in Ukraine, I've learned with FPV drones that what you actually do with an FPV drone is you slam it into people or tanks. So, I think I differ from what the government tells me you're meant to do with a drone, because clearly drones are for grenade dropping and flying into things. Yeah, they have different names, Saint, but bear in mind, so the Avon drinking tube system is different. Alahua Banzai, yeah. But yeah, but bear in mind, there's different types of NATO drinking tube. They never did a NATO standard drinking tube. So Avon one's different than the US one's, different to a couple of other countries' ones. Equalizer did a smiley face and then said it's YouTube blocking me again. It hasn't blocked that one. But yeah, if you made comments prior to that, it's blocked it. So yeah, like I said, don't forget to check out my Patreon. Again, people can donate on whatever platform they like. But like I said, the nice thing with Patreon is apparently now they're only... Patreon is apparently only taking 10% of your like funds, which is why I stopped using them at one point. But yeah, now that Patreon is basically apparently, oh wow, thank you very much, Napton. I really appreciate that. Sadly, I won't be able to cash that out until next month because how YouTube works, like donations in June and like money I make in June, I don't get until July, basically. So it will be end of July I get those. But again, massive thank you. I do appreciate that. Now, as Aspiel says about YouTube, yeah, we are $1 billion company, can't handle decent video bitrate. Yeah. So basically, the higher you put the bitrate up on YouTube and like the video quality, the worse and worse it gets. But yeah, thank you. I will spend it on not becoming homeless is my current thing at the moment. Yeah, it'll go towards rent and just basic bills, basically. Again, at the moment, like I've said, I'm not buying any more stuff unless it's really, really good for the channel. At the moment, I'm just trying to use money to, deal with food inflation and everything else. Hence why I'm selling stuff off. Yeah, well, that's a wise choice. Good, thank you. I'm not going to gamble it. Don't worry. I'm not going to be... You know what? I saw some really stupid-looking merch, so I think I'm just going to buy that. But yeah, a massive thank you, because like I said, at the moment, like the main thing that's annoying me at the moment, as I was saying, is because YouTube isn't sharing my stuff very well. It's that I can't even rely on YouTube's daily income amount. Now, for anybody in the UK, I'll link my eBay listings again. I've dropped the prices on stuff again on there. So yeah, gotta bet it all on red. It's a shame. Do you know what is really a shame? That you're not allowed to bet on which group did a terrorist attack or whatever, because I generally always win those. I know the odds wouldn't be very good, but no, you can't put a bet on, was it a snack bar today? Oh, super chats make threads. So how does that work? I don't know. I think somebody said that I can see I can pin your messages. See, that's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. No, I have not reduced the price to £15 like somebody. No, you don't need. So you don't need the vest. So basically, how it works, Saint, is you have the bladder that contains the liquid. I could go get my CamelBak in a minute if you want to have a look at how it works. But I do need to change the water in it because it's probably got Legionnaires from how old the water is at the thing. But yeah, how it works is you have like the bladder that contains the liquid. You have a hose connected to it, and then that hose ends in basically a like the thing that plugs into the mask. Now, I'd recommend you get the shut-off valves for them because that's always useful. Being able to turn off and on the water flow at various bits. But yeah, they make threads. I don't understand, says Napton. I think it's so like people who super chat now will like show up properly on the chat. I don't know. No, it's not in the back garden. It's in the conservatory on my body armor. Tell you what, because you guys have donated, let me go do it. Now, there's apparently, I think there's like a hold on, I'll be back thing you can do on streams, but I don't know how to do it. Because it's always one of those things, if I was going AFK to go take a piss or whatever, it'd probably be a good thing to use, but I don't know how to do it. I'm just having a look. So yeah, there's meant to be a thing you can do when you're streaming to say, like, I'm going off, catch you guys in a minute. Like, add a break or something they call it, but I don't know actually how you're meant to do it while you're streaming. Yeah, I can't see it. There's create highlight video. There's add stream marker. There's share the stream. Pause ads or display ads. I can't see one for Right, tell you what. So I'll just go AFK a minute. I'll go have a wee, and I'll also go grab the body armor. I'll put the body armor on and show you the CamelBak on it, so you can see how it works. I've showed it before, I think, in videos, but I'll go grab it in a second. Right, yeah. So just give me a minute. I will be back. I'll be back. I don't know if my chat is broken as well because I can't see any new messages. Oh yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure if my chat's broken or not. That's great. I'll close it and reopen it, and hopefully it works. I know I get the fan funding one that's useful. So if people donate, I can always see their things. So I can see that both Christfollower and Napton have sent me donations. So that's great. But yeah, live chat. Hopefully the live chat isn't broken. Anyway, I am going to go without tripping over anything. Hang on. No, shoes don't fall off. No. Let me go get my body armor and put that on, which has the CamelBak in, and go for a piss at the same time. So I'll be back. I don't want the camera following me weirdly out the room, so I'm just gonna turn off the live thing, put it there. Can I get it to go down? That's getting very, very hot now, this camera, so it probably shouldn't be on for too long. Right, I'm just gonna go AFK and go get the body armor, if anybody's wondering where I've gone. Right, I'm back. Let's get all this shot away. Got the heavy armour on. Oh, simple as. Right, the Camelback. Right, let's. Right, hopefully there's still people on the stream while I went AFK. So, zoom that out so you can see the body armour. So, right, let me just refresh the chat if I can, just in case nobody said anything in a minute. Right, okay, can you all guys see me that I'm back? So I've got my plate carrier on with my soft Kevlar body armour. Yeah, good. And for, was it Saint asking about it? The thing. So see there, I've got the Camelback in I've got a proper pouch for this Camelback. So how this works is I've got both the tubes for it. I think I've got some of the tube I can give a bit more slack, but I think I purposely made it quite short for when it's just stored on the body armor. But see there, what I've got is two adapters for it. So that's the CBRN one for Avon tube connectors for the gas masks. That other one where I can just pull them out and swap them over because I've got a valve I can open and close. And I'm going to have to hope now that the valve is actually closed. But like I said, I should be able to give it a bit more slack than that. But I can't remember if I've tied it up behindhand when it's just stored in the armor. But that's got a... I bought the quick release thing like that. Yeah, there you go. So see, I can just change them easily. So that's the one for the gas mask. That's the one for drinking normally. Like the bite type one. The bite valve. Where you bite it and it opens up like that. So, yeah, you can just swap them over and have whichever one you want on there. That's how I've set up my Camelback. But like I said, I do need to wash out this Camelback before I use it again. Just because the water's been stagnant in there for fucking ages. So let's close the cap on that. But yeah, so that's the CBRN one I've got set up with this. And like I said, that's the one that connects to the drinking tube on the C50, the S10 and all those sort of masks. If any of them are handy near me, the Avon style masks, I can show you. But there's even a Chinese rip-off connects to it. I can't remember, I put that earlier when we were talking about it. So, oh well, never mind. But yeah. Yeah, germ water. But for some reason, at the very bottom, the super chats make threads now. That's cool comment is right at the bottom of my finger. I keep thinking that's the newest comment when it's not. Yeah, this is a body armor vest. You don't need to get vests for Camelbacks. Camelbacks are literally like a water bladder that you can put in rucksacks. You can put them in because again, a lot of the Camelback vests are an equivalent to this. So if you see that there, see that is literally just like a pouch I bought that connects via a MOLLE system, and the Camelback is essentially connect inside the pouch is inside there, and then the tube obviously comes out of that. If I can try and get the angle to a good angle where you can see it. So yeah, that's why it's quite needs more slack because I've done it like that for this where I'm using it there. But as you can see, how I've done that on the body armor, the hose comes out of there, and then yeah. Yeah, so the Camelback is the bladder itself. Yeah, the Camelback is like the water bladder. But, you know, like when you fill it up, it expands. As you drink, it goes down. And are vests legal? Until Starmer makes them illegal, vests are still legal in the UK, yes. So what I've got here is an ex-police vest with like a MOLLE type system on it that can also take plates. So it's got the soft Kevlar filler in all of this, which is the, you know, like stab-resistant, handgun-resistant armor. Then I've got a plate, this one, because it has plate pockets. It's got plates in the front and back. So just to show you those, it's going to annoy me if you... Yeah, I might move where that camera goes. See, that's the plate. So that's the plate there. And the actual vest itself, you can see underneath, is the soft Kevlar. So this is, you know, stab-resistant, rifle-resistant plates. So this is my shit hits the fan one, which is why I've got the... you know, like Camelback on there. I I haven't got it on there at the moment because I did a video on it and took it off. But I sometimes have on the Molly system on the front the C50's pouch attached, because the C50 is designed with this vest. I can just throw it on and go. That's why I've got that drinking adapter, so I can just use the C50 with it. Let me have a look. I can't remember saying if sorry, if I go on eBay and have a look for One Stop Cop Shop, I don't know if you can actually search users, can you, on eBay? In eBay stores, and I'll see if it's the same vest. No, it's not finding them. Let's search in eBay stores. Right, yeah, good. I'm on their store. Right, let's look at their body armors. Oh, they've got gas masks on here as well. Right, let me bookmark that because it might be good for when. Oh, but their gas masks. Do they actually have any gas masks for sale, or is it just like manuals and no? So they only have like attachments, don't they? For the gas masks at the moment, no actual gas masks. Right, let's have a look at the body armors. So do they have this particular model? They've got a load of stab vests, but again, like I said, this is a particular model. See all. I'll sort by highest to lowest in a minute and see if they've got it. Highest price first. I can't see the one I've got with them saying this particular model of vest. Because I think this one is a Hawk Conine or whatever it's called, but it's not the same as those other ones I'm looking at, because the other ones don't have like all the Molly system going down the front. Yeah, Salt Hammer. Oh, this is really cool. I've not done a video on it yet. My mate Andy gave it me, and it's a hammer with different attachments on it, a bit like a Swiss Army knife. So you've got a hammer with like the wire cutters and the pliers there. What else have we got on here? Saw. Knife. Yeah, loads of different attachments on it. So it's like a Swiss Army knife, but it's built into a hammer. And then, yeah, you just lock it back down like that. But yeah, you could, this is a tactical assault hammer. You can hit people with it. You can claw hammer them. You can get your little knife out and stab them. I haven't sold the GMC 500. I haven't seen it in ages, though. I think I have it in a box with various other bits, but again, I haven't seen it in ages. Oh, sorry, were you on about the body arm when you said that, Saint, or the CBRN thing? Let me see if I can find you this, though. So, Camelback CBRN ladder. So the Camelback Chembio Reservoir 4 is £16.15 on eBay. And that's got, I think, has that got the Avon tube connected already to it? Because there's one from Fireproof Shark 2010 on eBay, and I think that's got the Avon connector already on the thing for it, for the Avon masks. The one they've got. So it's in one person's basket. Searching CBRN Camelback. Yeah, so there's one version that, yeah, it does come with like a little vest for it. So yeah, you could take it out of that vest, but that's still not a bad price for it, 30 quid with the vest. But yeah, mine didn't come with that vest. It just came with like a little pouch for it. And again, I've put it on a custom thing anyway. But yeah, if you got a Camelback, you might as well get the CBRN rated one, just because it's higher quality rubber than the ones used in the like standard Camelbacks. Yeah, pistol grip, far right fuckery. Oh, be careful about saying that, Napton, or Queer Stalin might send you to the gulag. Don't forget he's now monitoring every single conversation thing you do to see if you put in something that might be classed as far right fuggery. So yeah, let's put that back in that like elasticated holder for it, and that's like a big knife pouch, that one, for a genuine like fuck off big Rambo style knife. You know, like, call that a knife, this is a knife. Wouldn't quite fit the Lee Enfield bayonet in it though. But yeah, so like I said, this is my sort of current setup with body armor. Like the ECBA is definitely more user friendly. Like the worst thing of this in the moment is that fucking bit there poking me in the neck. So yeah, I might have to adjust that because that is quite annoying when that scratches my neck. The little like wire, you know, like zip tie I've attached them together with. But yeah, Napton, I don't disagree with what you're saying. Just be careful what you say in case they try and will use it against you. Yeah, I've actually found drinking tube systems for gas masks work way better with a Camelback than they do, you know, normally, if that makes sense. So, like, I actually prefer drinking with the gas mask of a Camelback than a canteen because you literally hook it on and then the suction, if you suck it, you know, again, it's going to sound dirty, but if you give it a good suck, you don't have to hold a canteen upside down. You just literally give it a suck and it comes through like you're drinking out a straw. And if your Camelback's pretty full, when you open the valve, it comes out on its own anyway. Like I said about the CDV 700 earlier, if you were listening, the CDV 700, I've still got it. I haven't seen it in years because it's in storage. So when I've got stuff in storage, you don't see it very often because it's in storage. So, you know, it might be, I think the CDV actually might be one of the plastic crates behind me there. Again, there's stuff on top of it, and I'm not getting it off now to have a look. I have two CDV 700s. One's broken, one's works, but the wire's a bit damaged on it. Yeah, the FM12's one, again, it's the right connector type. Again, same as the S10, same as the C50, the FM12's one, but you can connect it to the Camelback, and it definitely works better on a Camelback than with an upside-down canteen. Maybe you could be my right-hand man, Upton. You did donate to me, but again, I don't know how this new world's going to plan out. So, like I said, I've got my band little thing there. Look, that's my right-wing fuggery little icon. So you know, I can be ID'd as somebody who will or won't be shot at when the time comes. No, you're not going to be sent to the storage locker. But yeah, I think people will legit have to ID themselves using flags if some sort of civil unrest kicks off, because that is the symbol now that, you know, the authorities hate stuff like that. So it will ID you as whatever side of the firing line you're on. Because again, if you're using police surplus, you have to be a bit careful, don't you? So if I was to use a riot helmet, I think I'd have to paint it with a St. George's flag on it prior to actual use. Yeah, I've bought from them before, and they've been good, Saint. Yeah, it's definitely going to happen at some point, unless we get rid of the shit system we've currently got. It's just, again, I don't think with like a UK civil war, it's going to be like a proper government versus the people civil war in that sense. I think it's going to first evolve into Northern Ireland style, the Troubles, sectarian violence, where certain communities become no-go zones. And if the police want to go in to make arrests, they'll need loads of armored vehicles to go and try and snatch people. Otherwise, you know, they're just going to get Molotoved and like lynched, basically. I think that sort of stuff will happen first. And then, you know, if Starmer or whoever tries to use the army against the people, that's when it might get more interesting. Yeah, exactly, saying that's what I'm sort of saying, that it's going to be more like, I think, the Troubles just on a countrywide scale, where, you know, certain areas become no-go zones for certain people if they're not of the right group. Where's my GP5? I don't know because I've got so much shit. But yeah, so that's my predictions of that. Like I said, this is my heavy armor vest, as in it's got proper plates in it for you know, actual rifle plates, ceramics, and ultra high molecular weight polyethylene plates in this one. I think I've got the ceramic level 3 to 4 plate in the front, as in it's better than level 3, not quite level 4. And I've got my Chinese ultra high molecular weight polyethylene plate in the back with you know, so that's What's Sangar? Is that similar to what you call it? Is that similar to the fucking like what do they call them in America? Those like camera towers that is owned by a company like fucking Palantir or whatever. They've got a name. I can't think what they're called. I know they're used to like ID people and like track where they're going. Flock cameras, that's the one. Thank you. So yeah, like I said, this is a vest that again only protects you where it covers. Again, the ECBA is my favorite vest for just the weight of it. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, the ones where they were like the towers, weren't they? Yeah, where they had like all the mesh over them to stop Molotovs hitting them and like bulletproof glass. Those ones, yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean now. Let me see if I can find a picture for everybody in the chat of what I'm on about or what you're on about. I know these came in like different forms and that, and I don't know if the URL is going to. Oh no, I can fit that in on YouTube. Yeah, that kind of thing. I've seen some as well that are like built into the streets in a sense that are like more triangular. Yeah, I can't find a particular one I'm looking for the image of that's quite a good design, where it's like kind of pyramid shaped, and then you know, at the top you've got all like the razor wire mesh covered kind of like sniping deck on it. Yeah, I've heard there's places in America where people are just cutting down the flock cameras and masks on. But I've seen similar things as well, where apparently there was even in like really rural areas they were putting up fucking flock cameras, like on hiking paths, which is really dystopian. You know, this idea that you could literally just be out for a walk somewhere in the countryside and they've still put up solar powered fucking AI facial recognition cameras. You know, it's for your own good, they'll say. I need to do some exercises with this on, to be honest, to start getting in better shape. Because, like I said, the problem recently was when I was on holiday, I tried doing some pull-ups, or in a park, they had like, you know, some of those exercise kind of frame things. And yeah, I am nowhere near as fit as I fucking used to be. Like, you know, where I used to be able to do at least like 10 to 20 pull-ups. To be fair, I did have like steel toe cap boots on, and I did have a rucksack with stuff in it. But the fact I struggled after about 2 pull-ups shows I really do need to get back into shape. Again, mates, I probably won't be on the stream for much longer, but I might do another stream this evening, doing another Kia Plays Fallout 3 stream or whatever. Now, like I said, Saint, with the DX, because of how questionable the law is over certain ones in terms of if they've deacted them stricter than that, do you need to send boxes? I know it's a grey area. They'll probably just be sold person to person in terms of people I know in sales. Again, the DX I'm not too fussed about selling at the moment, but it's some of the ones where if any of my mates I know in real life say to me, you know, can I give you 200 for it, and it's the fair price. Like I wouldn't sell my SLR, I wouldn't sell my PM63, but there is a couple of ones where if, you know, I'm not really that attached to, if a person I know in real life offers me cash in hand for them, I might sell them, but I don't want to say too much about that on here for obvious reasons. Right, UK time, Napton, probably about 7 p.m. So 1900. Let's say that, because that way it's a big time between now and the later stream. And the RPK, yeah, that's a fucking old one because it's a Yugoslav one with the underfolder stock on it. Right, cool. Yeah, so make sure you just keep refreshing my channel if you don't see it, because I will stream about 7 p.m. Might be I start a little bit earlier than that, but
that don't care playing Fallout 3, looking for the right-wing fucks. We'll be playing Fallout 3, and I'm sick of this far-right fuggery. And we'll be getting those rent boys. I think Kia's nearly leveled up enough to get the cannibal perk, which is definitely a perk that is fitting the political class. Yep, my channel is about 15 years old. Yeah, I started this channel in, I think, 2012. Was it about April 2012? That was when I first started the channel, yeah. Because I've been working since around just after my 18th birthday, which was so I think I started work in November 2011 when I first started work. So that was, you know, like a month after I was 18, because I was 18 in October 2011. Like I'd finished sixth form that year and all that, and then yeah, like in April 2018, you know, I'd been working for a few months, had a bit of money, so I'd been buying stuff like DX and gas masks and starting to do videos on them. All right, cheers, Daniel. Thank you. I'll link people to the Patreon again, just if they want to link to the Patreon, because again, if you want to donate to me, just anybody, the reason I'm saying this is I think Patreon gives you, like, if somebody donates on Patreon, as far as I'm aware, the difference is I'm able to cash out the money straight away, as in, you know, I don't have to wait for a month or whatever to get it. My SLR back then was about 400 quid, Saint. So if people are interested in the Patreon, again, I know I've got the Ko-fi links and everything as well down below, but on Patreon, as far as I'm aware, you can donate the exact amount you want, and I can cash it out the same day, potentially. So if you sent me a donation on Patreon, you know, through like subscribing and then settings, whatever you wanted. Yeah, again, my Lee Enfield was about £400. My RPK, I think, was under 200 quid at the time. Yeah. Again, post all this shitty modern inflation bullshit, yeah. But yeah, regarding stuff like that, like I said, the good thing with Patreon now is I think they only take 10 to 15% maximum of the donation. YouTube is about £30, which is the annoying thing with YouTube now. They take way more in terms of, you know, what people donate to you. So that's one of the things that's a bit bollocks with the YouTube donations, is I think they've upped how much they take. But yeah, Patreon now. So if anybody does donate on Patreon, I can in theory cash it out the same day if somebody subscribes on Patreon, even if it's like a $1 thing. And yeah, like I said, it's just I reopened Patreon because there was a lot of people that said, you know, they don't want to donate via YouTube or buy me a coffee or whatever, but they would if I redid Patreon. So that's why I've reopened it that. Because again, I'm kind of stupid if people are saying, I'll give you free money, but only on this platform. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. No. So yeah, I've reopened Patreon again. Because like I said, I've still used Patreon for years to donate to other people. It's just I closed my one when, you know, they were taking too much and I was getting too much harassment through it. As in, people would donate, send me like abusive messages or try and use it to get like doxing information, and then they'd just do a charge back to their card that they paid for on the Patreon anyway. So yeah. Anyway, I'll be off in a minute. So thanks for coming on, everybody. Again, a massive thank you to the people that donated. So that was the Christ Follower and Napton. So again, massive thank you to you two, because again, that does really help me out at the moment where, like I said, I'm not in proper work, so I'm reliant on YouTube, and my YouTube doesn't share my stuff very well at the moment. That really fucks me over. So yeah, a massive thank you to you two. I do really appreciate that. So like I said, I'll probably be live 7 p.m-ish sort of time for Keir Starmer playing a bit of the Fallout and dealing with the right-wing folks. Dirty, dirty Brexit voters and the North FC and the right-wing folks. So yeah, I'll be on later for that then. So yeah, see you all later. And don't forget, I am still regularly doing videos, so manually look for those. If you don't see them on another, you know, on your recommended or your notifications, because YouTube doesn't notify people, look that way. Anyway, thanks everyone. Catch you all later, hopefully. And if not, catch you tomorrow or whenever. Bye.